How would you describe what you do to a kid?
I don't know what I would say to a child. That I'm in a constant state of optimism and pessimism. and because that's, this sort of spiraling state of optimism and pessimism at the same time. And hopefully some sort of weird, I know I've used the word before, alchemy comes out of it. There's some kind of magic that the director sort of conjures up that amuses people, enlightens people, entertains people, maybe tells them something they didn't know or make them feel something they haven't felt in a long time. The last two films that I've made where there's sort of ridiculous things happen out of the blue. It's never the thing you think it's going to be, ever. And suddenly you're faced with this ridiculous problem, and suddenly they make it better. And there are two instances, one in The Lobster and one in The Favourite, where it was a massive improvement, having had this terrible problem. You think it's unsolvable and it's going to ruin the entire movie and it's terrible. And in fact, it made the film much better. But you can never anticipate what that's going to be.
Tell me the example from The Favourite, because I know you've worked with Yorgos on 2 films now, and he probably has a very specific vision for things.
Well, this is a tiny, minor one. It's a bit of a spoiler alert, tiny, tiny, tiny. There was a cockfight that figured quite heavily in the beginning of the film. And you can't do a cockfight. And I had to say no. We all had to say no. It's not legal. You can't represent it. You can't even fake it. And he's into very, authentic. Everything has to be authentic. And so this was a massive tragedy from which I thought we would never come back. And they went away. Tony, the writer, went away and came back and rewrote it as a duck race, which is now being kind of, it's one of our favorite scenes. Great. What a great scene.
Great.
But that would have never happened. And it's funny and it's witty and it's silly, whereas the cockfight would have been very, very aggressive and quite serious. But anyway, that's a minor example. There's loads of others, but I won't get into.
Ceci, I did want to ask you with The Favourite, it's this very unique take on Queen Anne, I think, that seems to come from Yorgos's mind. What was the biggest challenge about something he wanted to do that you had to figure out how it'd be done?
Everything, I guess, is the answer. He has a very particular, contained view, and he reserves it and conserves it deliberately. And so you have to be, he's very intuitive on every level. Casting, yes, even hiring at the department, it's the same process. You're not going to talk him into anything ever. Ever. So once you accept that, you have to kind of intuit or inhale what he wants. But he has got a very particular contained view, and you just need to go with it. And we were very fortunate that we had 3 partners. Speaking of the part I hate the most about producing is stitching together the deal and the anxiety of closing it. They went with it. They went with his vision. And that was a big leap, really, from The Lobster, Killing of Sacred Deer, to this quadruple budget of a very perceptive, it could be perceived as an oddball take on Queen Anne. But he got into it. He's got this very amazing, it's almost this alchemy where he is throwing all this stuff at you and you're thinking, this is insane and it's just bizarre. But it's also very emotional. Somehow he gets under your skin. And at the end of the film, you're kind of going, damn it, he did. He got under my skin. It was this crazy ride that you go on with him, which is incredibly original. But, it was our financiers who backed us, and I give them all the credit for doing that. I mean, I know that sounds like I'm sucking up, but maybe a little bit. Maybe just a little bit.
Always the next film,
exactly.
Be real.
Who are they again? But he decides he likes a lot of street casting, which is, I think, very exhilarating. I love doing that, but it really throws the, financiers are going, really, you're gonna hire that woman who's a dinner lady to be the head of the kitchen, and we're going, yeah, doesn't that make sense? I mean,
It's fun.
It is fun because it throws everybody's game kind of goes, whoops, what's happening here?
You save on wardrobe too. Right out of the kitchen.
I know, exactly. But he's, you have to get into his headspace. That's the way it's done. There's no, I wouldn't call it collaborating. It's collaborating on a different level.
Hi, I'm Paul Greengrass.
Gabriela Rodriguez.
Ceci Dempsey.
I'm Nina Jacobson.
Thanks for watching
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching The Hollywood Reporter
The Hollywood Reporters Roundtable.
on YouTube.
On YouTube.